Welcome everyone to this second Oxford Sparky, and I hope it will be a Sparky debate. I'm Sophie Graham-Burnett, I'm currently PwC. I'm joined with Graham Addison. Graham, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi everybody, I'm Graham. I'm currently heading up Global Launch Excellence at AstraZeneca.
And Lorenzo.
Yeah, I'm Lorenzo Ciappina. I'm leading medical information, medical communication at Incyte International.
Thank you. We're saving all the time for the debate. No time at all for introductions. So if you want to get us to know us more, talk to us in the breaks later. So our key question for today is, will AI, and we've heard a lot about AI today, steal the pen from medical writers? I would love to see where this wonderful audience is today with the question. So can I ask for the Slido poll to start with, and let's see where we're starting the debate with before we do opening statements. Wow. Get your phones out and let's see what the answers are coming through. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right, look now. It's calming down now. There's a little bit more balance. Oh.
Come on, humans.
Wow. So 70 to 25% split. Interesting. Well, remember those stats. Remember those stats. And we're going to start with some opening remarks. And I'll ask Graham to start with the motion speaking for AI to replace medical writers.
Well, let's see if we can convince some more people. Just before I start, do we have any medical writers in the room? Hands up.
Really high up, because with the lights it's hard to see you guys.
No. Okay, I'm just checking. I'm not going to get any email.
I'm being.
I think if anything has taught us over the course of the day is that it's a no-brainer for me, right? I think I said that I'm dealing in launch excellence. It's everywhere from a medical perspective at the moment as well. What we get with AI is the speed, the accuracy, the consistency. And just to give you some examples, I think in medical particularly, there's a huge need because of what we can do by leveraging AI in terms of understanding and utilizing the complexity of the data sets that we have, right? And it's very good. That's what it's very good at. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you is just a personal example. So being part of the launch team and coming into AstraZeneca and being tasked with launching a new indication. And I'm not just talking about MLR review here, but medical writing in general. We were tasked with launching a new indication, but I took part in the exercise where you have to study readout. Now, if anybody's been in that situation, you're literally locked in a room for 48 hours because it's had a material impact on the business. And the clinical operations team come through once they've hit that big red button and it brings all the data out with a document this size. And you have 48 hours to go through that document and understand the data and create a compelling narrative with that data then to take to set the commercial investment decision. Now, I wish that we had had AI in that situation where I was doing it. So it just gives you an idea of how we can leverage it in those particular situations.
Great, so a very clear example there of why it could certainly replace medical writers. Lorenzo, let's hear from you.
Yeah,
case
thank
against.
you very much for this introduction, because here we're talking about replacing. So it means substituting completely humans. They're doing a fundamental job for companies, so sticking into very, very structured and compliance environment, because here in the pool we're talking about MLR, that's not only implying medical, it's also legal and regulatory. And if in some extent for the medical side, AI can give a hand, of course, and it's giving, I'm not talking about replacing. I want to see for legal, where the nuances and the gray areas in interpretation, how AI could replace in the next future. But to give you an example, and a visual example, what could be speaking on the future, imagining, or having imagination, of course, of what would be the next future. There was a very nice post saying, it was from 2017, it was saying by 2025, all the radiologists will be replaced by AI, and there will be cars that will drive by themselves. real facts, an image of traffic, of radiologists stuck in traffic, driving their cars, going to work. So it means that is true, technology is advancing, but the speed and how to replace and when humans will be replaced is yet to come. So still, humans are playing a very important role in this very important and regulated environment. And so we need to pay attention and saying, AI is going to be, and humans know more. You know, so humans, what I can see now, because it's under the eyes of everyone, we cannot say that AI is not helping in speeding up some processes, but it's one of the other tools that fortunately we have in our hands to do a quicker, faster, and sometimes better job. I'm not saying that it's not better, but replacing, we are not yet there.
Okay. Thank you for that opening statement. And Graham, how do you respond to Lorenzo's comment around quality and compliance being really better done by humans, particularly legal humans, in the case of MLR review versus just a machine?
I think it's an interesting area, to be honest. But I truly believe that somebody said this in the last presentation, right? It's how we build it. It's how the AI is built and programmed. Because it can be built and programmed to adhere to strict frameworks, to guidelines, to local regulations, whether it's FDA or whatever it is, whichever market you're in. And it also can update itself in real time, right? So we get rid of the potential implications of human error, fatigue, and distraction. And so it can be very consistent, and it can do it at pace as well.
Yeah, and pacing is something that's come up. What's your response to the pace question? And
yeah, absolutely. And I could agree to some extent because I think every company is working on integrating some of these technologies. And it's true, having a perfect, tested, validated system, it's the aim and the scope, right? But still, who's behind creating that? And the effort that the human and the hours that we are spending to validate, to put in place, to have a proper and as well consistent and harmonized database where the AI can fetch the information, it's very, very time consuming as well. So humans are still playing a very important role. If I was saying before, it's not only the fact that humans are still needed and are still very important in checking, because the nuances and the local regulation are so various and so different that could change also from one moment to another, that need to pay really careful attention. But also the effort that humans need to put on feeding this system at the moment. Because it's true, it's not anymore like AIs of the early 20s, where you have to tag everything. Fortunately, with natural language, they are able then to interpret and to absorb and to learn from the materials you are inputting. There's still an effort, and we are not yet there.
There's still a lot of humans needed to process. I'd like to invite questions from the audience for either of our debatees to see if they want to weigh in on either for or against. I'll ask them to put their hand up, maybe I can't see. Oh yes, the gentleman over there.
This is just for you to comment. You might have heard of the junior lawyer debate, which is that large language models and AI are being used to review contracts in the legal setting, and it will highlight risks. But anything that's low risk, they'll give it a different coding, and that allows the senior lawyers very quickly to analyse the contracts and address any of those issues. So if we apply that model to MLR, and that was the first question, will it replace MLR? If we do that, where are the juniors going to come from? So, in fact, if the AI is doing this and it is left for the senior people just to sign off, where do our juniors come from in time? Where do the new medical writers with that experience come from? If that is the model we're talking about, where AI does the initial review and then people then do the final sign-off.
Great question. Do you want to start responding to that one?
I'm going to go back to something that Marco said. He put a graph up on the screen earlier today around the reduction in roles and in jobs. And I don't think it will actually remove that completely, but you will see a downturn, right? So what you're describing because I think we'll just shift resources from a medical perspective. So I do think there will still be the, as you said, like more senior people in position, and we'll need to backfill them, but the resources will shift into different parts of the medical function. I think one thing that you'll find across the entire business or organization is that that type of operational activity will be automated, and what it allows us to do is free up time to focus on strategic direction, especially in the medical setting as well.
Do you have anything to add on that from a junior people development perspective?
Well, I think what I'm saying also to my guys, my team, so we need to be equipped in the next future to shift from doing basic stuff to master the technology and to bring other kind of values to companies. Because otherwise, of course, there's some people and some I can see there's the perception, the fear to be replaced with the next future. And this could happen for those functions that are doing repetitive and brainless activities. And unfortunately, that's still but these are the things that machines are very good at. The things that you cannot replace is the skill. I don't know when this could happen, and if it could ever happen, is where you can contribute on something that is changing the rules of the game. This cannot be analyzed before by machine and replicated, but it's coming from the imagination or from the genius touch from humans. That if there's not a model before that can be replicated and then even amplified and improved from where it's coming, from the human brain.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other hands up? I saw another hand go up earlier. Any other questions from panelists and debatees? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's actually more a comment that I just wanted to make it because there was a...
Keep the microphone right up, yeah.
It's more like a comment that I think it was a very nice fit, talking about the value of AI and also the limitations. So there was a very nice article actually published today in Nature Human Behavior, which shows that AI wins debates from humans.
Huh?
But the interesting thing is that AI is not always telling the truth.
So what's your tip for the debate then? Make it up as you go along?
Indeed,
To
yes.
beat AI.
Indeed, yes.
So that brings me on to another question actually, but thank you for the comment around, if AI becomes more prevalent in medical writing, what skills will human medical writers need to acquire to stay relevant and to integrate AI into their workflow effectively, which I think is what you're getting to, but great to hear a little bit more from you and also you, Graham, on that topic.
I think medical writers and whoever is into creating medical contents, that's the start from the screening of literature, then or creating contents and then reviewing contents, and then filtering the strategy and the strategic imperative of the company. They need to acquire the ability to prompt this machine to understand how then to maximize the contribution of the machine in order then not to replace at this stage, but of course to speed up those processes. Those processes that can be speed up in order then, because it's not always an absolute value, right? The company could also focus their attention on what's most relevant and to spend more time on what is more strategic and more important rather than, as I was saying before, those activities that are quickly be done by a machine and then point attention afterwards in the reviews or more round of review because then it's more rapid, you know. So the ability of these people need to maximize the tools, and also talking of AI in general, I think is misleading because AI to me is not something that I do agree with the previous contribution of the colleague from the Barclays that was saying we don't have to create new departments and new stuff, right? So that's the people need to use these as something that is embedding into tools that you were already able to use. So it means that it's speeding up what you were already doing.
Okay, so some good things to build on. Graham, do you think all medical writers need to just go home and change job, or go home and have pina colada and no point building up skills, or do you think there's still value in their building up skills?
That's why I'm asking if there was any in the audience earlier on.
I know, it's not getting writing now.
I know. Actually, to be honest, and I completely agree with everything you said, so in terms of what they'll need to do, it is around understanding and utilising the tools that are coming through. Data visualization is one, understanding how to use that, the tools built on the data. And I think also, and something you will hear me talk about tomorrow, I love this phrase that data is a story with no soul. So actually, when it comes to medical writing, I firmly still believe that medical writers are really needed because humans excel in creating a compelling narrative. And that is something that the human element, I really believe, still needs to be there from the medical writers.
Maybe a little bit glimmer of hope then,
Yeah.
even from you, who's taking the position that we don't need medical writers anymore. All right, thank you very much, both of you gentlemen. Let's rerun the poll, unless there's another hand up that I can't quite see. But I'd love to hear your views again, see whether we've shifted the debate from the 78-22%, or not, or whether it's more entrenched. So please get your phones out and rejoin the Slido poll, and let's see where we land at the end of this debate. Darren, we need some music for when these polls are running. Otherwise I'll fill it with nonsense. A little bit more than, I've shifted the needle a little bit more towards humans. Oh, still weird. Just a second. Right, well, I think you've moved the needle, gentlemen, in both ways. But clearly some space for humans and medical writers still to go. So thank you both for the panelists.